Hi, Homeworthy. I'm Larissa Mills. Welcome to my home in Massachusetts. Come on in.
This holiday season, get ready to unwrap the most magnificent holiday homes with Homeworthy's 25 Days of Christmas. For the month of December, we'll take you inside the most heartwarming houses, decked out for the holidays in true festive fashion. From twinkling lights and elegantly trimmed trees to sparkling ornaments and cozy holiday charm, these homes capture the warmth, wonder, and beauty that make this season so special. So join us as Homeworthy celebrates 25 days of Christmas. The magic starts now.
Raise your glass. Cheers! Merry Christmas! Happy holidays!
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi, Homeworthy. I'm Larissa Mills. I'm excited to show you around my home today, north of Boston. So I am a content creator or an influencer, which I kind of hate that term because I don't really want to influence someone per se. It's more, I wish I could rename it as an inspoer maybe. I like to provide inspiration, but not necessarily try to influence. But that's the name that people seem to call it. Before I was doing influencing work, I was in marketing, and I was on my way to a meeting, and my daughter was on her phone, just said, "Mom, before you go, can I just take a quick video of you just, walking from the kitchen?" And it's awkward. I didn't know what she was doing. I kind of looked confused because I was confused. And that was it. I was on my way, went to my meeting, and I came back. She had posted this video, and it went viral. It was just a trend. It was show your mom and then show your pantry and your house. And apparently I matched our pantry, which I don't even know what that really means, but apparently I matched it. But somehow the outfit that I was wearing that day, it sparked something that people wanted to know where my coat was from. They wanted to see more of my outfit or outfits on a more regular basis. They were kind of like, show us your mom, can you show us more outfits? And it was just a completely crazy, thought it was a one-off and didn't think anything of it. And I think maybe 2 days later, it just kept going. And my daughter said, "Can I just take a quick video of you in my bathroom upstairs," which now has sort of become the place that I film everything, which I will show you. And she just kind of said, "What are you wearing?" or outfit of the day, and kind of went through my outfit, which was nothing. I don't understand, but it took off. So my husband and I were living in Boston. My daughter was 2 years old, and we had my son Henry was on the way. I was about, 6 or 7 months pregnant with him. And we kept looking at homes in another town outside of Boston. And we looked, oh my gosh, we probably looked at, it could have been like 60 homes, I think, over the period of 2 months. It was ridiculous. I feel so badly still for this realtor. It just, nothing fit. I think we put an offer in on 2 homes. They fell through. It just, somehow it just wasn't clicking. My husband and I went to a wedding, and someone said, "Have you looked at this area up north of Boston? It's sort of a beach town. It's a little bit sleepy. And have you looked there?" And we said, "No." And they said, "I really think you guys should check it out. I think you'd like it." And the next day, got in the car, we drove through the area. It was pouring. It was dark and dreary and pouring. And both my husband and I said, "Oh my gosh, if we like it in a rainy day, this is crazy. We are loving this place." This was the first home we saw, and we put an offer in. So she loved it. That realtor was that she had never had that experience before. We got the home. I don't know, it was one of those things that I feel like, I remember seeing the listing and thinking, that's it, that's the one. I don't know, we had a connection, this house and myself, we had a connection. So we have lived here now for 18 years, and this house is built in 1890. We have tried to find more information on it, but it looks like it was actually moved. So I don't know where it existed in this area, but it got moved to where it currently sits. And we can't even find out exactly when, but it somehow pops up, but we're not sure. But every inch and ounce of this house we have touched and redone. And there's still more to do. There's always more to do in an old home. It's definitely been a labor of love. I think every piece of all of us is in this house at this point, so I'm very connected to it. If you can be connected to a home, I'm connected. I remember when we were closing and the floors were a mess, just everything was just a mess. And I remember like being in the home alone, and this is gonna sound completely crazy, but I just sat on the floor and just spoke to the house. I don't know if anyone else does this, but I had a little conversation. I just was like, we're gonna go through a lot, but I'm totally gonna take care of you, and I don't know. We had this great conversation, and it's worked out. We've had a lovely relationship since. So yeah. So this area actually just got finished about a year and a half ago. This was one of the conversations I had with the house when we moved in 18 years ago, that I wanted to have a banquette area, and we finally did get to do that. And it just, for some reason, when I remember walking into this house and thinking, that corner needs a really cozy nook. And everyone fought me on this idea, just for the record. And so we put various tables. In fact, there's a table that's actually in the dining area that was here, but it was a little too big. We had smaller tables, we had round tables, we put rugs. And I had actually read a feng shui book one time because my mom had it laying around and I had nothing else to do. So I read this book, and it really stuck with me, because it sort of pointed out that if there are spaces in your home that are kind of like dead spaces that no one ever wants to go, it's a sign. There's something off. And no matter what we did in this corner, no one ever wanted to be in it. There was something really uninviting, and no matter what I did, it just didn't seem to work. Finally, built all this in, built the cabinets, more storage area. There's storage underneath all of these, which was fabulous. And since I've put it in, everyone is around this couch. Everybody, this area has not been used more in 18 years than it has probably, I mean, this past year, it's where everybody hangs out now. So it's probably one of my favorite areas of the house now, because we just all live here. It's definitely very inviting. So this is my tablescape at the moment, the plates and the tablecloth. This is where the fashion world and home decor really had a meeting, because my daughter and I were invited to a Diane von Furstenberg event in New York. Super excited, got to meet her, got to meet Talita, her granddaughter, and the event was catered, and all of the placeware and the linens were from this company, Carolina Irving Daughters, and it's out of Portugal. And I became so obsessed with it that I decided to have my everyday. This is our everyday, and I just love it so much that I use it every day, fancy, it's just what we use. I love having, obviously, different patterns, different textures, but hopefully making it work. There's something about it that just is, again, inviting and also just interesting, just a little bit more interesting. These all have been filled, almost everything in the house has a story. That's definitely something that, I guess that's partly why there's such a connection with the house, because every item and everything has some sort of story to it. But like, for instance, this is my baby cup from as a baby. This is my son's baby cup. Just sort of collecting things like, I love different trays, so like Hermes and Gucci, so sort of that fashion end of things, but then it becomes decor. I would say things are from travel, so, things like this was from a visit that my husband and I took in Prague like 25 years ago, and Italy. My son did Legos, and I really particularly loved that mini, the dark green. I think it actually informed the color of our cabinets, which is a really dark coach green. So the Lego informed the design. So this kitchen, also a conversation I had with the house when I first moved in. It was in desperate need of an update. We could not afford to update it the way that I wanted at first. So we did, in the beginning, we did some sort of cosmetic things. We painted cabinets and we redid countertops. But finally, it just got finished last year, the kitchen that I knew in my head always wanted to have. I grew up at the house that my parents had. We had a house in Maine, and there were no cabinets up above, which has become a thing again, everything cyclical, but that's what I grew up with. And I loved the fact that my mom put artwork on the walls as if the kitchen was just like any other room in the house. And especially with the fact that we have this open concept, I really disliked that the kitchen felt like, oh, that's a kitchen, and then there's the rest of the house. I really wanted this to be sort of to meet the level of the rest of the house. So finally, we're here. Everyone said, what are you gonna do? You're not gonna have any storage. We actually have more storage just because it's a lot more thoughtfully done. So we have no problems with storage. And artwork, I like sort of that juxtaposition. So you have marble and a dark green. So of course, I don't want to go too traditional because it feels like it's a little bit more classic here. So this photograph is actually, she is a photographer that I have coveted a piece of hers for a long time. Her name is Jessica Craig Martin, and she is an event photographer. So she goes to Vanity Fair, Vogue, New Yorker, a lot of the sort of high society parties. And she just has such, I always loved her eye and sort of where she hones in on these events. I don't know, it sort of sums up my ethos. It's like, it's sparkly and pretty, but it's also really real. You have, a half-eaten pie. The tablecloth is now end of the night. Like, it's the most fun part of the night after the glamour and the glitz is kind of worn off. Reminds me of like, it's you and your best friend chatting about how the night went. And it's sort of that just the sort of the download of the whole evening. And that's kind of the most fun part. It's like the getting ready and then the download after. That's what it reminds me of. And also just fabulous shoes. So, had to have. So this is our main family area. It's an open concept. And as you can see, there are many places to take a nap, which my dog is doing because he knows the drill in this house. So this is Blue, one of our many animals in the house, and he completely gets the vibe of the house. He sleeps on everything and our bed, but no couch, no chair is off limits for animals or humans. And he very successfully shares his home with 5 other cats, which some days he's not as happy about, but today he's okay with it. So when we moved in, starting with literally this line, this is the new part of the house. And then this going into this area is the old part. You can see the floorboards are wider. So they made it this open concept, which we did love, and it's lovely. But that being said, I do like to have spaces that kind of have their own sort of coziness or just some delineation between the spaces. I would say this is a little bit more formal of an area of the house, if that's possible in our house. And it's interesting because our house has such a flow. The beach is a block down the road. And in the summer, our house is very heavily used in this part of the house. So the backyard, a lot of outdoors, the windows all open and sort of like ocean breeze coming in. And this section gets neglected a little bit in the summer. And then as soon as it starts to get cold, everyone starts to shift. Obviously, we have a lot of fires going, but there's such a sort of this immediate shift that happens. And of course, then when the Christmas tree goes up, everybody wants to be in this area. Don't look too closely. I just want to say, if you don't want your furniture to get completely wrecked, don't have 5 cats. I just want to say that, especially silk. Just don't have 5 cats. But I don't know. I think it gives it a little patina. That's what I'm going with. Just shredded. Anyway, these were my mom's parents, but then like that couch over there this was my grandmother's couch that I had just like to make it a little bit fuller. It was definitely a little bit, because I mean, this couch was like the 30s. So I had it kind of built up a little bit and then covered. But the quality of them is so solid. I mean, this was like a wedding present for my parents. So they're just really old. But I just find that like the shapes, the scale of the furniture. I had a really hard time finding furniture that wasn't so oversized. And because this house is an older house, the scale of the furniture, it fits. So, and I loved the fact that I could just reuse what we already had, and I will be recovering them soon because they're trashed from cats. With these, same thing. These were in my living room as a kid, and I love them, love the shape, had them covered. The ottomans, same thing. Again, I do feel like animal prints, leopard in particular, is a neutral, so it's sort of an easy way to add some texture to a home, and it doesn't really fight with anything, it just goes. But have to have a little feminine, have to have a little color. So like I said before, I definitely like that sort of combination or juxtaposition between sort of traditional, classic, but also with a little bit of modern or something that might be unexpected. And this would be an example, this coffee table, definitely a more modern, sleek, minimal design. Put it up against a more traditional couch and obviously, fireplace mantle, and but it just gives it a little bit more personality, a little bit more interest. So this is our Christmas tree, and every year new ornaments get added to this tree. So it's getting fuller and fuller. My grandmother started a tradition when I was a little girl that every Christmas Eve she would give me a Christmas ornament. So her intention was that once I was 20 years old or whenever, and I had my own apartment and my own tree, that I would have like a starter set of Christmas ornaments. So if you look, there are ornaments on here like this little ornament. That is from when I was like 7 years old that she gave to me because I was in the Nutcracker. And there are other ones like this. She had it engraved with my name. This is like when I was 9 and I got a kitten. And so I have done that tradition with my kids as well. So every Christmas Eve, they get an ornament. Like this one is like a little fashionable lady from Bendel's, and I gave it to Ella when all of this influencing thing started to happen and her TikTok grew. And so I gave her this one. So they always will have a bit of a story. We also, every time we travel, I will get an ornament. And I honestly find that I don't go through a lot of pictures all the time, but every year when I am taking out all the Christmas stuff, a flood of memories come back because of the ornaments on the tree. So for instance, this is a trip to Scotland. My husband and I went to Norway, so a Viking ship. We went to Sweden, Swedish horse. There are a few things, like I have an obsession with the Tudors, so I had to have Anne Boleyn and King Henry VIII, he's there somewhere. But like the eggs, those were from Prague. I think literally most of the ornaments on here are going to have some story, whether it was something that was relevant to my kids that year, that it was given to them, or a travel. So it just keeps growing. And I have a star on the top because my mom always had, like, I felt like she did this very tasteful angel, and it used to bother me that other people could have like a brightly lit star, and I really wanted a star. My mom's like, we're not doing stars. So I have a star. There's no angel, there's a star. And I do need a real tree because I need to smell it when I come down in the morning and make my tea. And so we have a real tree, but at the end, it makes me sad when it's on its way out, but we have a beach that's a block away, and there's a bonfire at the end. So all the trees go, and there's a nice little send-off. So I feel better about that. This was sort of more the formal dining area. We would have we'd have dinners, we'd have more formal stuff, entertain. But ever since I put the nook in, everybody crowds, doesn't matter how many people, everybody crowds into that little nook. So this table was sort of bare for a while, and I finally said, all right, that's it. Nobody is coming into this area as much, so I'll make it at least pretty, and I can grab some of these books, sit by the fire, and enjoy my pretty books and not have them hidden in the library. So that's what it is for now. I will take all this down when we have guests for like Christmas brunches, and I sort of set up a buffet on this table because people grab food and they can sit wherever. It's a very casual affair. This is probably, if there was a fire, this may be the piece I would have to somehow haul out of here. I was actually helping a friend of mine who lived in New York. I don't know, she thought she liked my style, and I was helping her with clothing, and then she said, well, can you help me decorate my apartment in New York? And I said, sure, and we were at an outdoor sort of New York art market, and I saw this man had 2 of these available. They were like, it's a canvas. He said it was in Subway, it used to be in the subways that they had these posters in New York. And I was so nuts over this, and I wanted her to have it. And she did put it in her apartment, but she surprised me and got me the twin. And it makes me so happy. I love this so much. I mean, I'm a big fan of pink, and it's the perfect color pink. Chanel is the whole thing, so. So this is the library, and Butter is a very big fan. Yes, you are, honey, I know. She's a huge fan of the library. We all are, actually. So this room, I think I manifested it because when we moved in, there were no bookshelves or anything. This room was a disaster, and it was actually where all the Legos were. And if anyone has kids and they've had Legos, they understand what I'm talking about. Everything, no matter how much you try to clean it up, Legos were all over the floor. The walls were sort of it's almost like wallpaper got torn off of it. I don't know. But I just kept calling it the library, even though it was clearly a playroom. I insisted it was the library. So over time, it did, in fact, become the library, and we had the shelves built in the bookshelves, and it's really, while, again, like I said, I like an open concept for some of the time, I also really like having space that we can get away from each other, and sort of a cozy space that just is a little bit smaller, and it's great in the wintertime. We have our TV in here. It just gives you a little separation, which is a healthy thing. Okay, so this is actually a neighbor. She was like a mom, and she's a neighbor up the street, and she likes to draw and sketch and do whatever. And she had a big sketchbook. This was in it, just sort of throwaway things. And I asked her if I could have it so that I could print it, that I could frame it. And I love it. I think it's so fabulous. So yeah, she just kind of does it for fun, but I think she should do it more professionally. I think too, I think one of the biggest things I notice is that I pack furniture. So it's sort of like, I feel like you walk in and you think only one couch could fit, but in reality, 2 or 3 could fit. And I like the sort of almost stuffed look as opposed to sparse. I think I'm not a minimalist, is what I've realized. Okay, so we're gonna go upstairs to my bedroom and where all the content creation happens. So this is the bedroom. It is this is the new part of the house. So the previous owners had done, as you can see, a vaulted ceiling, which not my favorite. Just in a New England climate, because it's cold, I like to have the ceilings a little bit lower just for a little bit of a cozy factor. But we tried to make it work. We put in this bed just to sort of meet this incredible height happening. And when originally this bedroom, when I first did it, it was yellow. I had a lot of chintz in here. And I don't know, through the years, I think because this is where I get dressed, I have a lot of color and pattern in my clothing, that the backdrop of having all the color and chintz and florals was almost too much. My brain needed something a little bit more serene for my bedroom. So that's why this palette is a little bit, I add in patterns with bedding, but I keep it really clean just because when my closet opens, it's an explosion of, like I said, color, pattern, and I just kind of need that to be the color focus. So it's more about my clothing than the color for the room. So if you follow me, this will look familiar, but this is where I do all my get ready videos in the bathroom. So this bathroom was renovated probably about 6 years ago now, and I really just wanted some texture, but really clean, just have it be bright. I wanted light in here just because I do my makeup in here, get ready in here. So I didn't want any color to mess with makeup application, especially since I'm getting more blind. So I needed just really good backdrop for just neutral palette and functionality. It just so happens that this very neutral and clean background became a perfect backdrop to get ready in front of my followers on Instagram every day. And so I have it closed when I do my own videos, but when I do videos, TikToks with my daughter, we do outfit of the days, we have it open, and I'm usually leaning because I don't really know what to do with myself, so I lean in the doorway, which people comment and sometimes they make fun of, and that's okay. So people often ask me if I could show them my closet. They also ask me how I keep everything organized, and the answer is, and I have told people, I do not organize it. I am a terrible organizer of closets, and I'm letting you look at this, which is, there's a teddy bear from when I was 3. I can't get rid of it, so it's in my closet, it's just sitting there. I have a little rhyme or reason, at least up there. There are sweaters, but we have, like a ball gowny type thing happening, coats, there's summer stuff. It's not organized at all, so. But somehow it's like, I know where everything is and I know how to pull it, so it works for me, but I don't recommend this for most people. So I'm going to show you, though, a few outfits that I have been loving and wearing for the season, holiday time, some great pieces. So first, yes, it's obvious, but I have to tell you, this set, I recently wore this, if anyone saw. It's a mini skirt, but if you put it with tights, or I wore it with socks and slingbacks and a great coat, it's such a beautiful red. It really came alive once it was on, and you can add lots of layering here if you want. I don't know, it's like, it's the seasonal color, but it's done in a way that's very chic, minimalist, but very flattering. So this is by Hanson and Gretel. J. Crew this season has been hitting it out of the park. And I've been talking about this because I love it so much, and I wanted my friends and obviously followers, if they wanted something like this. This jacket this season from J. Crew it's perfection. So, and we know that I like leopards. I like it in clothing and I like it in my house. So they also, this tulle skirt, I am wearing it. I wore it with a gray sweater and loafers actually. But it's definitely a little bit more fun, a little bit more whimsical, but super comfortable, really comfortable and warm. So it's a good one. Now this is for the less colorful, but still adding a little bit of fun. It's kind of, I thought this was a really fun piece just because it's kind of like, it has the plaid. So there's this sort of nod to, I don't know, plaids are always kind of nostalgic for me, but just sort of this classic look. But then of course with sequin palm trees, I like this juxtaposition happening here. It's, I wear it with a really cozy sweater and then just a great jacket. So this would be something that you could wear going from, I don't know, like office to dinner party, and it would transition well. This is Essential Antwerp, the skirt. And this is just a fantastic jacket by Marfa Stance. It's elevated, but again, there's a lot of detail and there's a lot of texture going on with this coat. Functional and fashionable. So this is the back of the house. When we originally moved in, this was a sliding glass door, and we had absolutely no space for shoes. Both my son and my husband still play hockey, so it was really fun in the wintertime because we basically had that much room that you see there for boots and hockey equipment. It was so much fun. It was so much fun. So luckily, after, I don't know, I think maybe 10 years into it of living here, I finally got to build a mudroom. And I definitely have, you know, teapots and tea cozies, and I just like pictures and colorful things. So I needed a space to put them. So I had them build shelves. A lot of the items in this, I know I got these at Anthropologie when I was 20 years old or 23 years old, something like that. I wanted to create a mudroom too, that this kind of goes back to that functionality. I saw people doing cubbies and drawers and all that kind of stuff, but I know my family, and my family is, if it's not really easily accessible, it will somehow not be hung up or get into the cubby. So I have baskets, like, you really couldn't be any easier. Meanwhile, they do wind up on the floor sometimes, but hooks, easy to throw on, and baskets, throw the shoes in. So that's it. Really simple, really functional, but also pretty. It's kind of the point. A home to me means it's personal. I guess that really is the most succinct way for me to describe what home means. I think a lot of times people think home is where family is, or home is where the people you love. Yes, true, but I think you can still create a home. Let's say you were completely by yourself. I still think you can create a home, and really it's about making it personal to you. I definitely think there are beautiful houses that are perfectly decorated and magnificent, just works of art and photographable and just gorgeous. But that's not necessarily what makes a home. So I guess really it's about that sort of personalization, to me, that is the key. Thanks, Homeworthy, for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a happy holiday, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching. Go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content and shopping guides.